As an autistic person, socializing costs me energy, and I want to explain it using spoon theory in today's video. This is my personal experience. So we have a nice image here to help me explain spoon theory. It's a very simple idea. It came from people with chronic illness to begin with, but now the neurodivergent community has also started to use this. We start the day with units of energy, aka spoons. As seen in this image, we might have 3 spoons for executive function, we might have 4 for physical activities, 2 for social, and so on and so on. We have these finite units of energy that will be depleted throughout the day. And I wanted to use this to describe my personal experience in terms of social energy, and I thought that spoon theory was a good way to do that. So every day I wake up, I will have a certain amount of spoons for different areas of life. I might have a few for physical activity, I might have some for executive function, I might have 1 for social energy. It's kind of impossible to tell how many spoons I'll have on any given day when I wake up. It almost feels random, and it's just what my body has allowed me for that day. Social interactions can differ, of course, in terms of how many spoons I might need to use. If it's like a quick chat with someone familiar, that might just be 1 spoon. If it's a group, that might take 2. If it's an unfamiliar group, that might take 3 or 4. The more unpredictable these situations, the more spoons that it seems to take for me. Familiar versus unfamiliar, like I briefly mentioned before. If it's someone that I'm already comfortable with, someone that I know to some extent, it takes a lot less spoons. It might just take 1. If it's a new meeting, but it's a familiar place, it might take 2 spoons. But if it's a new meeting in a new place, that might take 4 or 5. It's a lot of unpredictability, and the familiarity scale is a bit skewed for me. So unpredictability and familiarity play a big part in how many spoons I'll need to use for that particular activity. The environment also matters. If it's somewhere familiar, then I'm a lot more comfortable. If it's quiet, I'm more comfortable. But if it's somewhere noisy, then I will be using other spoons. I'll be using spoons for my sensory difficulties. I'll be using sensory spoons. If it's someone familiar, I may feel like I don't have to mask as much, and that also makes it easier in terms of my spoon usage. If they're unfamiliar, I will probably have to mask more, which inherently takes more spoons. What happens when I run out of spoons? I become overwhelmed, I become irritable, I have a shutdown, I might go mute. Quite a few times I've had to just say to someone, "No, my apologies, but I just need a moment," and I'll have to try and find somewhere quiet just to sort of recuperate as much as I can, which really sucks because I feel like I've failed in something, and it can also come across as pretty rude. I'll be mid-conversation with someone and then suddenly I'll just walk off. I think that can come across as quite abrasive and rude. There also comes a point where you can run out of spoons, and then you have to start pushing through the discomfort. This is when you sort of get into debt. I might already be mute and I've completely shut down, I've checked out of the situation, I cannot take any more input. But for the sake of social expectations, I have to push through this experience. If I end a day with 0 social spoons, it might take another day for me to recover. If I have 0 spoons and I push through, it's like I'm getting into debt. I start owing spoons to someone, if you will. And now that one day will be 3 or 4. It will be very compounded and a lot more extreme in terms of recovery time. Planning my social spoons is incredibly difficult because on any given day when I wake up, I'm not sure how many I really have. It's difficult to decipher. I can have a general idea. I think, oh, I need to meet someone today. And you just get, it's sort of a gut feeling. You think, I don't have too many spoons, so this will probably be my only social interaction for the day, or I hope it's my only interaction. Other days you feel a bit more optimistic and you think, okay, I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing them. I'll have more energy in the conversation, I'll be more present. Perhaps if there's other opportunities or situations that arise where I need my social energy, because I have more, I'll be okay. So managing this becomes very difficult. It might be things like agreeing to just a certain amount of time for a conversation. You might say, okay, I'll come and meet you, but it might just be for an hour. This is a good way of trying to manage and conserve your social spoons. Saying no to certain events as well, if you're feeling particularly low on spoons that day, can really help. But again, this is a difficult thing because it can come across as you're sort of disregarding someone's wishes if they'd like to see you, or just simply rude. Scheduling rest time as well can be very useful. If I know I'm going to have a particularly difficult social engagement, just the fact that I've already planned the recovery time in my mind is very helpful, because if I'm having a difficult time in the situation, I sort of have a little bit of a safety net. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this is very difficult and it's tiring and you're running out of spoons quickly, but remember that you've already designated some rest time for this. You already have your recovery in place. So that predictability and safety in itself can actually be really helpful for conserving your spoons in the moment. I'm thinking, oh, this is difficult, but I know that I'm going to have that safe time to myself and that recovery time is already guaranteed. I already know it's going to happen. Aids can really help, but also this sort of plays into masking. So if I stim, it really helps, but this is very difficult, because if you're unfamiliar with the people, then society deems this inappropriate. But if you can stim, that definitely helps. And again, it's part of masking, but I found that if I have scripts in my mind, or if I have ideas of general things that might come up in the conversation, things I would like to ask, things that I could investigate further with this person, oh, that sounds interesting. Please tell me more about that. That sort of takes some of the pressure off. It takes away some of that unpredictability. Socializing for me is just very unpredictable in general. I have slow processing speed when it comes to speech. It's specific to me, but I think it's a mixture of autism and my stroke symptoms. There's just so much to juggle. Facial expressions, am I coming across in a friendly, appropriate, approachable way? Am I reading their body language right? Am I interested enough? Am I too interested? Have I said something inappropriate? Is that too rude? Is that too personal? Is that not personal enough? All of these things that you're juggling, as well as masking and sensory input that's happening around you. Your spoons can just run out very quickly, and sometimes you might think, oh, I think I have 4 spoons today, and this social situation will be fine. You get there, and the sensory input is so much that those 4 spoons, suddenly it's 3, which plays a big part in things. You burn out a lot quicker, you get to your 0 faster, and perhaps you might have to start pushing through and getting into debt, which is horrendous in terms of recovering. The spoon theory is just really useful, I think, in terms of helping me to explain my autism to other people. I just have these allotted designated spoons for the day. They are finite. Once they're gone, they're gone. I think it just really helps to convey this image that I do have a certain amount of social energy, but it's just limited. As always, with all autistic struggles, it's very important to just be self-compassionate. Be okay with your own pacing. Sometimes you don't work as fast as other people. Sometimes you work differently. Sometimes you work faster. I've started to realize that being nicer on myself, being more understanding internally, and just having more self-compassion has actually really helped in terms of reserving my spoons and perhaps having more spoons on a given day than I would typically expect. Does this idea of spoon theory resonate with you? Do you have any personal experiences? Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ask any questions. I hope this has explained something. I hope that it was relatable, understandable, and I think it's just a really good theory for explaining just a lot of energy issues actually with autism generally, but today I used it to explain my social difficulties. I hope you found this interesting, and please have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye-bye.